Welcome back to Block TV. This is Trader's Take, where we take a look at the crypto charts by diving in, doing the technical analysis, and of course, joining us is our very own fortune teller, the fortune maker, the man with the awful internet connection, Joe Saz.
Yep, that sounds about right. Awful internet connection, unfortunately, but you know, I am making the screen bright here. So how are you doing today, Yona?
I'm doing good, and I do appreciate you taking out of the time out of your holiday vacation with your family to join us. Now tell me, is the markets as red as my shirt?
No, they're actually. This is a pretty positive day. I mean, I gotta say this. I'm long, and even at 7,300, I posted in my group. I'm going long here, and I'm catching the falling knife that we did see a bit yesterday. Down here. So on the Bitcoin US dollar 15-minute chart, this is where I started going long, 7,400 or so, and this was the falling knife that I was talking about catching. So this is where I went long around here, and then as you can see overnight while I was sleeping, fortunately things started to look like we were headed down much further, but then we got saved by a good bit of volume, some serious bulls, and now we've stabilized. I think we're looking at another leg up. I really think that we're on our way to 8,200. A quick look at the daily will show that we have this kind of horizontal resistance area. We popped our heads through it. We popped our heads through it quite a number of times, and it's really been up, grab a time now, and I'm really hoping that we get our breakout that's going to send us and set us up for well, obviously what I'm hoping for is a long-term bullish scenario. So daily is looking good to me right now. I'm still trying to figure out this contango situation right here. It seems like we're due for a move up. I'm really getting bullish here. I guess all I'm saying is I'm leaving that 8,200 target to the upside on the table. And that will change if we can make our way back down into 6K territory. But for now, I'm going to assume that this isn't just a, right in the charts, it's just skimming the top of the other candle. You know, we're in an area where there's definitely resistance. So hopefully the bears, you know, are getting tired out. You know, right along this area, there's a lot of resistance. And I'm hoping. I was watching, you know, a bunch of bears get eaten alive in the order book. So I think it might be time for bulls to start making those market buys that put bears on their heels, and then even to the point where bears pull liquidity from the book, and then we have significant moves to the upside.
Watching bears getting eaten alive. I usually reserve that for the animal channel. But Joe, have we seen the bottom of the market?
You know, that's a tough question. The answer to that question right now, if I had to give you a definitive answer, I would say 60% sure that the bottom is in, 40% sure that it is not. So okay. Not quite neutral.
And you keep on harping this 8,200 price target. Once we hit that, is that your price target, and then we're going to stay inside this little window that we have been playing at, or are we going to shoot up above it, hopefully to 10K?
Yeah, the quick take here is I'm not 100% sure. I look at Bitcoin instead of I have reevaluation periods, and once we hit 8,200, I want to evaluate how we got there. I want to evaluate what buyers and sellers are looking like in that range. I want to evaluate a number of things. So I'm more of a reevaluator than a price target caller. You know, it's not like I'm going to call a combo shot in a pool table that involves 5 balls. You know. So in this particular case, I'm looking for 8,200. I want to see how we get there. If we get there and things are looking good, then it's, you know, there's two things that could happen if things are looking good. A, we can go higher. B, we can consolidate for a little while, which is again healthy in the bull market. I want us to consolidate instead of, you know, just go parabolic and then fall parabolic. You know, well we don't typically fall parabolic, but we do tend to go up parabolic, and we know how that story tends to end. And you know, from top to bottom, we've had over a 50% retrace of this parabolic uptrend alone. So leaning toward if we can stagnate here in the 8,200 range and you know, really stay clear of that lower low, that 6,400 low, then moving into the halvening, I'm going to be very bullish. If we can hit 8,200 and things are already looking bullish, then I might say this is going to be the first. I mean, I've said it before, but I might be saying with a little more certainty that this could be the first halvening where we experience an all-time high before, during a halvening or before a halvening. I mean, it's very possible. This could be the first halvening where we have a lower low than the bear market low. So I mean, I think the longer we find ourselves in this territory, the better off we're going to be, as far as price is concerned. So I'm really hoping for that bullish setup.
Joe, I might have to change your intro from the fortune teller to the price renegotiator, but we'll work on that one. That's not as catchy, but it's good to hear that you are remaining bullish throughout, as always. Enough with the Bitcoin. Are any of the altcoins doing anything?
Yeah, I've been monitoring XRP a little bit, of course. Let me get this out of the way. It's just stagnating. It's actually doing something similar to what we had over here before its big drop. MoneyGram News might have done some. There's been some damage done by MoneyGram News, and maybe some of the opposite. I think there was that too. The fundraise or something. They raised a good bit of money in valuing their company at 10 bill or something like that. I can't remember the exact numbers. So they should have, if in my opinion, they're just squeezing the last bit of juice out of the hodlers. They're just trying to, pump bullish news and just get people to load up on their bags to try to raise the price. But this is a pretty desperate time for them. They're now floating in the teens. I mean, I'm watching because I hate this asset and I want to see it go to zero. And we're floating in outer space, and I'm starting to feel like I'm not going to be right short term, but we're on our way. We're just kind of how a feather falls. It doesn't really, it kind of like floats like that. I just want to see us get down to this 12-cent range and then see how we react there. But right now, again, we're just floating in outer space. We're in a pretty significant downtrend. From top to top, things are looking pretty big. It's more like a channel than a wedge. In fact, let's just draw this out real quick. Let's see if my internet will allow it.
I do love all your downward arrows drawn onto the screen. It does make for an unbiased joy to watch.
Yeah. There's been a couple of hiccups. I mean, we hit this pretty hard. This was an assumption that we could go sideways and down, but anyways, yeah, we didn't get my my lower target earlier on. I thought I thought crypto was in a much more emotional state at the time. This was back in April 2019. So you can see we're clearly in a descending channel here, and as I like to explain with Bitcoin, we have a median in this channel. Let's just kind of draw it like this. And right now, in fact, the median is acting as a lot of resistance within the descending channel. So this thing might pop a little bit or grind sideways a little bit, but I don't know. We might not. It might be a lot harder to break 20 cents than people realize. I don't think it's bullishness when people don't have money doesn't count. It doesn't matter. So within this channel, within this descending channel, we're riding along the bottom edge of this the median. And I would say that's pretty bearish to me. I would not want to be riding along the bottom because a breakdown through this is going to be very bad. It's going to be a very bad bearish setup for this asset.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I mean, XRP, as always, I do love getting your opinion on it. How is anything else? We have Ethereum. Is Ethereum doing anything today?
Yep. Let's take a look. Ethereum on the daily here. ETHUSD on the daily. R size a little over. It's not oversold, but it's definitely riding along the bottom there. I'm kind of impartial here. The one thing I would say is let's see here. This is actually something that is kind of a Joe trick. This is called what I call the acceleration of trends, and I'm sure that there's another analyst out there with something similar. But this is this isn't anyways, my analysis of the acceleration of trends. We have accelerated within a within a downtrend. We've accelerated that trend. And we've even, in theory, accelerated a bit faster down here. And so what you can see happens is when you break the accelerated trend, you return to the previous trend. And if this trend does not hold, then this trend is back in play until it doesn't hold. So right now, I would say Ethereum is we're definitely in a descending pattern here. But the question is, which one is going to hold. We've already been rejected off of this accelerated trend line. So I'm curious to know, do we, continue to fill this space, or do we move in to fill this space? Ethereum isn't giving me much information right now. So we did have a 9 buy that was really weak, and we've gone sideways. I just want to look at what Bitcoin's done after that 9 buy real quick. Bitcoin had a big pump. Okay, we've gone up. So big difference there. I would say that's probably bad, and that makes me immediately jump to the Bitcoin dominance chart. I've been watching this, and we poked our heads in on this day when we first started seeing everything get annihilated. And now we're starting to see more and more legs up for Bitcoin against the alts, maybe a couple relief alts, but I'm not seeing anything that, again, makes me too optimistic. Let me just get this to, let's try. I'm not seeing any green up there. Let's do green. Okay, so Ethereum is still angled down. A couple others might be trying to relieve some territory here, some turf. But yeah, the fact that Bitcoin's going up, alts are going down, this could be another alt exodus phase, and this could be and I would be very excited if it was. This could be a push for Bitcoin to make its way into another, the higher 70 or lower 80% dominant area. I mean, this bear market has been brutal. The parabolic uptrend mostly applied to Bitcoin, and if we look at the altcoins and see how they have acted relative to Bitcoin's move and where it's stabilized, found support, you can see that pretty much everything else is nearing its lows. I mean, let me zoom all the way back out real quick. I mean, you can see that we're not far off the $80 Ethereum low here. We're trading at 128. We're $40 away, $50 away. It's pretty big in percents, but Bitcoin's basically still up here somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Bitcoin's still fighting and doing a good job. I mean, it might even be a bit higher than that. So let's see, the Bitcoin, the relative area, let's see, 364, and we're in current price of Bitcoin is trading at 73. So we're at about a 50% retrace from this. So that would put us at $180, and that is right around here. So this is where Bitcoin is performing relative to the alts. I think the alts are going to be bleeding a bit more, and as long as they continue to do so, I think that's going to mean people are pulling money out of alts, moving into Bitcoin, causing that dominant spike in Bitcoin, and keeping the price relatively stable as well, while altcoins continue to bleed. And I think this could be a particularly painful market for them. I think this might be a market where we go from thousands to hundreds of altcoins. If it takes another 3 months or so, it could happen. But if it's only 3 months, maybe we just go from 5,000 cryptocurrencies to 2,000 in this particular bubble.
I know for sure you're wishing that Santa does bring you the altcoin death, but for everyone else, I do hope that with these holidays, the only thing that falls is the sweet, magical snow, and the prices all go up. Joe, thank you so much for joining me, taking time out of your holiday vacation. I hope you enjoy it with your family, and for all of you at home, while you're enjoying their holidays with your family, if you want to check out more on blockchain and cryptocurrencies, check us out at blocktv.com.
For more news and updates, follow us on Twitter.